bread has risen. It's done its hour of rising. Now we get to cut it into a few bits and let it rise for another 15 minutes. Oh yeah, get it out of the really, really buttery bowl. I'm just gonna, oh yeah. That was a good noise. That was a good solid sound. So, with a normal bread, we just chop it in half. Oh dear. Right? With a normal loaf. Right? But this is a double batch. Which means I think best course of action is to cut it into 4 pieces. Cut it in half and then cut it in half again. Right? Okay. There's one ball. There's another. Don't really want them to touch because I'm like kind of afraid they'll just like merge back together. So I'm gonna try and keep them separate. Ooh, that one cut way better. Okay, that was exciting. All right. Then we I'm gonna move that one a little closer. Again, don't want them to become one nebulous form. That would not be as fun. So I'm gonna cover them up again. And then we get to wait for another 15 minutes for them to rise. I think I'm actually gonna set a timer this time because that would be helpful. A 15-minute timer would be very helpful. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna set a 15-minute timer. Oh, sweet, I've already got one on my phone. Nice. All right, 15-minute timer. Oh, I have to preheat the oven. We have to preheat the oven because since our bread is already gonna take a little bit of time to rise, that's the perfect time to preheat the oven. We're preheating it to 350. Don't forget to preheat your oven because if you forget, then it's like the butter all over again and you're stuck waiting for something that you should have started earlier, and ultimately it's just a giant waste of time. So start preheating your oven. You don't have to preheat it at the very beginning of the recipe because we take an hour to go let the bread rise, but you still have to actually preheat it. And this is the perfect time to, since you gotta let this do its thing for like 15 more minutes. So you let the oven do its thing too, and then when you're done, you can glaze your bread in milk and put it in the oven, which will be nicely heated. Yeah. Yeah. Although this time, the plan is not to just put it in a pan and let it do some more rising. Instead, the plan is I want to attempt animal-shaped loaves, or an animal-shaped loaf, I think. I think that's the plan. Kind of want to make like a fox. It kind of also seems like a pretty big plan. I'm not sure how well it'll turn out, but we're gonna go for it. There's no way of knowing unless I try, you know? Failure is always an option, as the Mythbusters told us many, many times. Failure is always an option. If this fox, hopefully, that I make turns out terrible, then that just means that this attempt didn't work, and I can try it again later if I want. I could try it with a different bread. I could, like, Google Google how to do it. But this is going to be attempt number 1 of making a loaf of bread that isn't shaped like a traditional loaf of bread. Yeah, that's the goal. So I think with the 4 pieces, right, I'm going to probably redistribute some. I think I'm going to take one of the quarters, chop it into 4, turn it into legs. I think I'm going to take another one, trim a little bit from it, move that to a third, have the second one be like the head, have the third one be like the body, and then take like the 4th one and make it the tail. That's the plan so far, I think. Or I could also take number 1, chop it into 4, turn it into the legs, take number 2, cut it in half, turn it into the head and tail, and then take 3 and 4, combine them and turn them into the body. That might also work. Not 100% sure. Never done it before. Yeah, so it's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. You know, if it turns out great, fantastic. I get a loaf of bread that looks like a fox that I can eat. If it turns out not as good, so be it. It'll probably still taste pretty darn delicious. I've got a cat here to say hello. He's Sinatra, here to say hi. Okay. Probably time for that part in the video where I go wash my hands. That sounds about right. But look, we've got a kitty. Yeah, we got a kitty. That's very important stuff, the kitties. Very important. All right. Gonna wash my hands now. Yep. How long do we have left on the rising of the bread? Got a whole 10 minutes left on waiting for the bread to rise. Yeah, the oven's at 200, so that's pretty cool. More than halfway there. That's nice. Hopefully they line up pretty similar. So that way the oven's preheated at about when this is done doing its second rising. You know what, I'm actually gonna go check and see how long it really needs to rise, because I feel like 15 minutes might not actually be the amount of time. It might be more like 10 minutes. But we have the power to check that. No. It is 15 minutes, so my time was right. Pretty glad I found this bad boy, which is a dough cutter thing. I don't know what it's called. It's metal, reflects real nice. Use it for cutting. Feels more doughy than just like getting a large knife. Which also means I don't have to upset my friends over by the knife block, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Still trying to figure out the whole bread plan, shape-wise. Yeah, trying to figure it out. Cause like, this is kind of the plan, you know? Have a nice like headpiece, and then the body, and then like 2 limbs and a tail, you know? So it's like vaguely animal fox shaped without being like humongously. I could probably like slash in some eyeballs with the knife, probably. Can also do the same for the tail for texture, I guess. So I'm trying to figure out like the sizing, you know? because the tail's gonna be pretty big. The limbs are obviously gonna be the smallest part. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't actually know how much dough we have, so I don't actually know how big this fox would be. I'm gonna tilt this up a little bit. There you go. Ta-da! Yeah, so I don't actually know how big this fox is gonna be. It's gonna be tasty. But I think the real thing is to contemplate, do I take off some from the head lump to then make a bigger body lump, or do I let it all be the same size? Because I feel like if I let it all be the same size, then the head's gonna be a bit too big. But I don't know if that'll look cute, or if it'll just look like the head's too big. But we're not doing anything till the dough rises. But we're gonna let the dough rise, move it, cover it, and then it'll be another 10 minutes. So I might just cover it and then come back post the baking of the bread with the completed bread. And just cut out the whole awkward, I've waited 10 minutes, now I'm putting it in the oven. I don't think I did that for last bread anyway. But really that just involves brushing some milk on top of the bread and then putting it in for an hour. I think it cooks for an hour. Pretty sure it cooks for an hour. I'm gonna go check. Nope. It cooks for about 35 minutes, not an hour. Just over half an hour, 35 to 40 minutes. Ooh, we're at 330 degrees on the oven. And we've got another 5 minutes on the bread. Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. So I think that the way this is going to turn out, this series of Milkbread, it's just going to be 3 videos instead of the 4, because this one will be longer. But ultimately, same stuff, just more chit chat while the bread rises. Because gotta let the bread rise, gotta let the yeast do its thing, because it's a yeasted bread. Oh, nice. Okay, so the oven preheating won out in the end. It beat the rising of the bread. I'm proud of it. Very, very proud. Yeah. Got all my cooking companions. Can't believe I almost forgot to bring them into the kitchen to help out. I had moved them after baking bread the last time, and so I almost forgot to bring them back in to hang out with me. It's nice to have a little entourage, you know? It's nice. It's a good entourage. Very, very good entourage. And sometimes there are kitties that come walk by. Sometimes they make noise. Sometimes they're very loud. Not always. I'm feeling kind of impatient. You know what? We're just gonna start doing things with the dough. You know, it's fine. It's fine. You know, we're gonna uncover this, and we're gonna get to work. Okay. So I'm gonna go grab a cutting board, put the dough so that I have someplace else to put it while I try and construct a little body. Okay, 1 piece. 2 pieces. Right here. Okay. Alright. I think I'm gonna merge these 2 together. Just let them become one mega bread. And then shape them. Oh. So we're gonna shape this like this, I think. Hold on, I'm gonna come bring you in closer. Boom, bread. And then I think we're gonna cut the larger quarter of bread in half. We're gonna make this little guy the head. Oh gosh, that's. I can hear the sound of the cat throwing up somewhere. Oh god dang it. Okay. And then I want to make this little face. Well. Oh my god, a fox would need ears. Or, dude. Stop. Yeah. Cat went and threw up in the bathroom because living with cats. It's delightful. They definitely don't always throw up on the carpet. The like one place you don't want them to throw up. Chop. And then chop. Okay. Oh, hold on. This is not a very good tiny animal, that's for sure. Some might even classify it as a below average tiny animal. But you know what? I am proud of it, kind of. It's a work in progress. You know, we're gonna move. I'm not entirely sure what this looks like now. It kind of looks like an animal. You know? Kinda. I'm not really sure. Kind of looks like an animal, though. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I'm gonna try and I think harvest a little bit of dough from the body so that way let's tuck that underneath and then because then we can take this, we could cut it in half. And we can like possibly turn both of them into ears. Again, not really sure what I'm doing here. Other than trying my best. That's a vaguely triangle shaped thing. I'm gonna try looking at this from a different angle. You know what? It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. I'm gonna adjust the ears a little bit. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm gonna place this one further up here, further up front. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I will probably slice some eyeballs into this little guy. Oh yeah, those are the best eyeballs, truly. Stab them. I'm harvesting from the face, I know, travesty. But I want a little bit of dough to make eyeballs. This is true hard work. Trying to make a fox out of bread. I'm telling you, not that good, but it's gonna be pretty tasty. And also, it's bread, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm on the Great British Baking Show or something like that. I'm at home, in the kitchen, making bread. I'm gonna quickly redo this tail. All right. That looks vaguely enough like a fox. It's definitely not perfect. Definitely not perfect. But, you know, it's got eyes, ears, some limbs, a tail. It's great. So I'm gonna cover it up for like 10 more minutes. Glaze it with milk, and then put it in the oven for 35 minutes.